Good morning. Welcome to Old Vine Sand. I'm Jan, and it's early Sunday morning, and it's cloudy, and I love it. It's perfect. Thank you for joining me. So, first of all, before we get started, I want to show you I got a gift yesterday. Now, I don't get a lot of gifts, so it's like, wow. It's from my cousin, and it's a place to write. It has empty pages. It has Old Fine Zen on it and my name. And it comes with a beautiful pen, and it's just a beautiful color. It's a beautiful little writing book, and I write a lot. So this was like so surprising for me. It was so beautiful. Old Fine Zen. I love it, Jan. So that, and then she gave me this necklace that has amethyst in it, and it's just beautiful. So I wanted to say thank you, and it really was beautiful. And I'll fill that book up very slowly. I'll write slowly. I have paper everywhere because I write everything. I write my meditations. I write everything. So, thoughts. I saw a homeless man. I don't know if it was yesterday. I think it was the day before. And I was driving to one of the places I teach. And I'm at the light and I see him, and he's crossing the street, and he's on a bicycle, and he's really thin. He's not a young man. And he's pulling this little wagon behind him. And in this wagon looks like all of his belongings, bags of stuff. And in the center of all these bags is this dog. And he's tall, he's sitting up, he's some sort of shepherd, I think. And he looks kind of old, but he's sitting up very regally. And this really thin, older gentleman is pulling him. And my heart just went out. I mean, I want to give him anything I had, everything I have. It's like my heart just felt so overwhelmed. And I caught a glance of his face as he's crossing the street, working his legs to pull this little cart with all of his stuff. And the light turns green, and I pull away, and I'm thinking to myself, what is that expression I saw on this man's face? I'm trying to describe it to myself, and it wasn't happiness. It wasn't like he was resigned or he was miserable. It was a look of, and I wouldn't call it peace, it was a look of contentment. And when I mean contentment, I mean he's working it, his life. He's working it. He had figured out a way to get it together, where he could pull his belongings and pull his dog, and he was content with how he was working his life. And it made me go back in my memory and think of some trainings that I had about contentment and what it really is. And it's not about having your life in perfect circumstances. It's not, because it'll never be or never stay like that. Contentment is about a well-ordered mind. Well-ordered. Your mind has been trained. Your mind has been disciplined. You have found spaciousness within all of those thoughts that you have, where you can find peace with what is. This is contentment. It's changing the relationship you have with wanting. of course, we all have desires, which is normal, and it's okay to have desires. But we want to examine those desires and not obey every desire. And when we're young, we tend to do that. We have a desire and we will go all out to fulfill it. But as we get older and as we examine our desires, we learn that not all of them are going to be met, nor should they be. Fears. Our fears are to be listened to and understood, and we all have them. We all have fear, but not identify with them to the point where we're fearful people. We're afraid to do anything because it might not work, or it'll look stupid, or people will think this or think that. We'll have fears, but we don't totally identify where they rule our life. And the same with our emotions. Our emotions arise all the time, and they arise, but we should not be ruled by them. They shouldn't overtake us, where we get angry and we carry that anger for years and years and years. They don't rule our life. And our thoughts are the same way. Our thoughts, instead of creating more fears in us, our thoughts should lead to wisdom, to understanding. So when you catch your thoughts making you more fearful, you're aware of it and you start to change those types of thoughts so that we can use wisdom, what not to do, what you should do, that sort of thing. So a well-ordered mind brings you some spaciousness, some peace, and that is contentment. That is real contentment that is not determined by your circumstances being perfect, because they won't ever be perfect. So when we meditate, we begin to notice what brings agitation to your life. Notice that. What brings clarity to your life? Notice that. What feeds kindness in your life? As an example, and this isn't patting myself on the back, I'm just using it as a silly example. It was garbage day on Tuesday, and there's a woman in her 80s that lives across the street in back of my house, and she has a driveway that kind of goes up, and the garbage was picked up, and she hasn't been feeling really well. So that day, that evening, I went over and pulled both of her garbage cans up to the top of her driveway. And I thought, I felt so good just doing that little thing. And I know she felt good after she saw that somebody had moved her garbage cans up. So I feed kindness in my heart, and I feed it to other people when I can. And do you feed resentment in your mind? In your thoughts? Are you breeding more resentment? So what leaves your mind spacious? What leaves it uncluttered? And that will bring contentment to you. True contentment. Like that man on the bike with his dog and his belongings. He was working it. It wasn't the perfect life for him. Are you kidding? He has a tough life. But he was working with what he had. And that was the look on his face. Okay, that's what I wanted to speak to you today about. So I'd like our meditation this morning to be towards that. Just opening, considering it. Okay, so get comfortable. You can lower your shoulders. You can dip your head down. You can lay back. Close your eyes. or at least gaze downwards. Take a deep breath in and a long breath out. Contentment is discovering that our peace does not depend upon life arranging itself according to our wishes. Allow your hands to rest gently. Take a slow breath in and an even slower breath out. Soften your belly. Relax your jaw. Soften your cheeks. Rest your tongue. Position your feet in such a way that feels comfortable. And one more deep breath in and a slow breath out. Morning has just begun, and you find yourself standing before a small, beautiful cottage at the edge of a quiet lake in the mountains. And the water is smooth as glass. A soft breeze moves through the trees and touches your face. And you hear the birds just starting to wake up. And you turn towards this little cottage and you open the door and you step inside. And this cottage represents your own mind. And you look around without judgment. And perhaps there are rooms that are filled with old worries, shelves that are crowded with memories, drawers overflowing with regrets, corners that are occupied by fears about tomorrow. And there's nothing wrong in this cottage of your mind. Everything that you see has simply been left unattended. So you walk slowly through the rooms, and with each breath you begin putting one small thing back into its proper place. Perhaps it's a regret from the past, and you place it back on the shelf where it belongs. And you come upon perhaps a fear that tried to protect you, but now you invite it to rest for a while. Or perhaps an old disappointment, and you fold it carefully and place it back in a drawer. There's no struggle as you walk around the cottage of your mind. There's no force. There's only kindness. The Buddha taught that suffering grows when we cling. So today we loosen our grip. And notice how the room begins to feel lighter. Not because life has become easier, but because your mind has become clearer. Have you put things back in place? There's space now. There's space to breathe. There's space to listen. There's space to notice the morning light entering through the windows of your mind. And the cottage has not become larger. It's simply become ordered. And so too with the heart. A well-ordered mind knows what belongs. It welcomes gratitude for what we have. It makes more room for compassion and kindness. And it keeps wisdom close. In this well-ordered room, it allows joy to enter quietly. And the thoughts continue to arise and the feelings continue to come and go. But they are now like a guest rather than an owner. You greet them, you learn from them. And when it's time, you let them leave. Rest for a moment beside the window, looking out across the lake. See how the water reflects the sky. Only when it's undisturbed and still. And our minds are much the same. When we stop chasing every thought, clarity appears naturally. Notice your breathing. Nothing extra is required. Nothing is missing. For this moment, you are enough. This breath is enough. And this quiet is enough. And this life, just as it is at this moment, is enough. A poem, everything in its place. The oak tree does not envy the flight of birds. And the mornings arrive without applause. The heart learns slowly what nature has always known. That peace is not found by holding everything, but by knowing what may be released. And so now, silence, like an old friend, sits beside us. And we discover in this moment that contentment was quietly arranging our home all along. Breathing in, breathing out. As we come to the end of this meditation, may we remember that a peaceful life is not built by controlling every circumstance, but by gently tending the inner landscape of the mind, like a quiet home cared for each day. The heart becomes spacious through small acts of awareness, of patience, and letting go. So may you carry this sense of order with you into your conversations, your work, your relationships, and your moments of solitude. And whenever your life begins to feel cluttered again, may you return to your breath, your stillness, and the quiet truth that contentment is not something to be found elsewhere. It's something patiently uncovered within. Breathing in, breathing out. And now, as we close our meditation for today, and we slowly bring ourselves back to where we began. And you may add a little movement, perhaps shoulders or fingers or toes. And when you're ready, you may reopen your eyes. And we close for today. And I'd like to leave you with a thought, another thought. A well-ordered mind remembers what matters, and it forgets what doesn't. It forgives more quickly. It worries less. And it delights in the ordinary moments of your day. Okay, thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. If you think this could help someone else, please share it. That's all I ask. No more asking. Okay. Have a good day. I'll see you next week. Oh, I go on my symposium next week. I come back on Sunday, so I will make a video. It'll be later though, because I fly home early morning, but not that early. So anyway, thank you for listening, and take care of yourself. Okay, bye.